Sign here, the lawyer said, sliding the documents across the table. Your sister inherits everything. I was 19, homeless, and broken inside. 12 years later, they stormed into my boardroom. Only I can prevent the bankruptcy. I leaned back in my CEO chair, crossing my arms. You have 5 minutes. Starting now. My father's face was pallid, sweat beading on his forehead despite the air conditioning. My mother clutched her Hermes bag, its authenticity clear to me. Fake, I noted with grim satisfaction. Victoria, my perfect sister, refused to meet my gaze. 12 years. It had been that long since I was summoned to that sterile law office, where they explained that Grandma Eleanor's will had been altered for the family's benefit. It's for the best, my father had said softly, sliding the papers across the mahogany table. Victoria has a family to think about. You're young, unattached. You'll be fine. I was 19, 2 years into college on a partial scholarship, working 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Grandma Eleanor had promised her fortune would be split equally between her 2 granddaughters. My girls, she called us. Her legacy, $5 million each. But I got nothing. How? I stared at the paperwork in disbelief. Mom was confused near the end, Victoria said smoothly. She was 25 then, married to an investment banker, already living in a mansion. She signed a new will. Everything goes to me as the older granddaughter. That's not what she wanted. I challenged. Can you prove it? Do you have evidence of undue influence? The lawyer interrupted, his tone clinical. Mental capacity evaluations show she was competent when she signed. I looked at my parents. You're okay with this? My mother avoided my eyes. Victoria has children. You don't even have a steady boyfriend. I'm 19, I said. Exactly. Too young for that kind of money. You just waste it. Better it stays in responsible hands, my father asserted. Responsible, I echoed bitterly. You mean Victoria's hands? The decision had already been made. Sign the acknowledgement, Victoria said coolly. Or I'll contest your right to anything else, your college fund, the car, everything. You'll have nothing. They'd already drained my college fund, I learned later. The car was in my father's name. I'd been naive, trusting that family meant something. So I signed, and walked out with nothing but the clothes on my back, and a rage that could have burned the world. The first year nearly broke me. I dropped out of college, unable to afford it without the drained fund. I slept in my car until it was repossessed. Nights in 24-hour laundromats, washing the same few outfits, studying coding on library computers. Once my mother texted, "Come home." Apologized to Victoria. Apologized for being robbed. I deleted her number. At 20, I finally got my break. A startup needed cheap developers. I lied about my degree, showed what I could build. They hired me for pennies, enough for a shared room in a moldy apartment. I worked 18-hour days, learning everything I could. The startup failed, but I made connections. The next paid better, and the one after that gave me equity. By 25, I co-founded my own fintech company with Malik, a fellow developer burned by family betrayal. We built software to protect assets from financial abuse, digital vaults, inheritance safeguards, elder abuse prevention tools. Every line of code was personal, born from pain. Our company exploded. Turns out, financial abuse by family was epidemic. From 2 developers in a garage, we grew to 300 employees in a Silicon Valley high-rise. Valuation hit $1 billion in 5 years. I had built an empire from betrayal's ashes. Meanwhile, Victoria had squandered Grandma Eleanor's fortune, bad investments, her husband's gambling addiction, a lifestyle that drained millions. The family construction business, built by my grandfather and expanded by my father, had been mortgaged to pay for their excess. And now, this moment, in this boardroom, where they sat like beggars at a feast they once denied me. Time's ticking, I said, glancing at my watch. More than the car they said I didn't deserve. The business is failing. My father spoke quickly. We need an immediate injection of capital, or we lose everything. The house, the company, all of it. $15 million today. The bank called the loans. Fascinating. Why should I care? Your family, my mother whispered. I was family when you stole my inheritance. I shot back. How'd that work out? Victoria started to speak, but I cut her off. You manipulated a dying woman, forged documents, coerced her. I don't know which part of it I care about anymore. You took what was mine and laughed while you did it. You think you can prove it? Actually, I can. I pulled out a folder. Remember Grandma's nurse? That kind-hearted woman who struggled with guilt for years over what she witnessed? Well, when she saw my name in Forbes last year, she reached out to me. Victoria's face drained of color. Sworn affidavit, I continued, detailing how you visited Grandma daily during her final month, how you brought papers, how you told her I was dead, killed in a tragic car accident, and that she needed to sign new documents to protect the family's assets. That's not all. I also have forensic accountant reports exposing how the family's money was systematically drained, gambling debts, affairs, failed investments. Tell me, Victoria, does your husband still frequent that particular casino? Or did they ban him after the last incident? Silence. 12 years ago, you had $10 million. Grandma's 5, plus the 5 you stole from me. Now, nothing. 0. Actually, less than nothing. Debt, ruin, the complete collapse of what you built. It's fascinating, isn't it? How quickly money vanishes when you don't earn it. My father spoke softly. We made a mistake. We see that now. You see it now because you need my money. If you were still wealthy, I'd still be dead to you. That's not true. When's my birthday? Silence. My middle name? Nothing. What company do I run? My mother fumbled. Something with computers. Get out, Marina. Please. Oh, now you remember my name? Desperation. It's obvious you're terrified. Victoria burst out. Isn't that enough? You've won. You're rich, successful, everything. I'm not. Are you happy now? Happy. I walked to the window, gazed distant. No. I'm content. There's a difference. Happy would have been growing up with a family that valued me. Happy would have been using Grandma's money to pursue graduate school, starting my company without sleeping in laundromats, building something with love instead of spite. So you'll help us? I turned back. I'll make you an offer, same as the one you made me. Sign everything over to me, the company, the house, all remaining assets. In return, I'll pay off your debts. But then, you'll have nothing. No money, no assets, just each other. Family, remember? That should be enough. Where will we live? Not my problem. Maybe Victoria's children will take you in. Oh, wait, they cut contact last year, didn't they? Something about toxic grandparents. Victoria started crying. 12 years ago, I begged her through tears. The symmetry was almost poetic. You can't do this. My father's voice, we're blood. I laughed bitterly. You bled me dry and called it love. You threw me away like garbage. Then want to recycle what's left? No. So you'll let us rot? I give you a choice. Same one I had. Sign it all over, walk away with nothing, or face bankruptcy and elder abuse charges. Yes, I will pursue that. Statute of limitations isn't up, and I have very good lawyers. This is revenge, my mother accused. Justice. Revenge would be buying the bank holding your loans and foreclosing immediately. I could do that with a single phone call. They exchanged glances, the illusion of entitlement crumbling before my eyes. We need time to think, they said. I checked my watch. 30 seconds. The bank closes in an hour. After that, my offer disappears. You can then explain to a judge why you told a dying woman her granddaughter was dead. Fine, Victoria shrieked. Just sign. I smiled, pressing the intercom. Julia, bring in the papers Mr. Clove prepared. My assistant entered with a stack of documents, drafted by the same lawyer who'd helped them steal from me after I hired him away from his old firm with an irresistible salary. Poetic, isn't it? I said as they signed. Same conference room as 12 years ago. Same type of papers. Same devastation on the other side of the table. My father muttered, You're enjoying this? I looked at them. I'm enjoying the symmetry, the justice, the proof that you were wrong about everything. We love Victoria. You tolerated me until I became inconvenient. Now, everything you built, everything you stole belongs to me. They finished signing. Congratulations, I said. You're officially nobody. How does that feel? What happens now? My mother asked, defeated. Now you leave. Start over. Maybe you'll surprise yourselves. Maybe hitting rock bottom will build character. Maybe you'll finally understand what you put me through. Or Victoria asked, or you'll blame me forever, learn nothing and die bitter. Either way, that's not my problem. Security escorted them out. I watched from my window as they stood on the sidewalk, looking lost. 12 years ago, I stood on a similar sidewalk with nothing but determination. I wondered if they still had any. My phone buzzed. Malik, my co-founder. Did you do it? It's done. How do you feel? I paused. Empty. Full. Everything and nothing. That's normal. What will you do with their company? Dismantle it. Sell the pieces. Donate the proceeds to organizations that help victims of financial abuse. And the house. Women's shelter. Seems fitting. A place that once protected predators, now protecting victims. Are you sure? I don't need their things. I needed them to understand. Do they? I watched them disappear around the corner. They understand they lost. Whether they understand why, that's on them. That night, I sat in my penthouse, staring at the only childhood photo I'd kept. Grandma Eleanor and me in her garden, both covered in dirt, planting roses. I whispered, I did it, Grandma. I protected your legacy. Not the money, that was just paper. But what you taught me about strength, about growing beautiful things from difficult soil. The roses in that garden were probably dead by now. But the ones I planted, my company, my life, my refusal to be destroyed, those bloomed despite everything. Maybe because of it. The next morning, headlines blazed. Tech CEO acquires family business in hostile takeover. They called me ruthless, cold, unforgiving. They weren't wrong, but they missed the real story. The story of a 19-year-old girl who'd signed away her inheritance to keep the peace, then built an empire to prove a point. Some things can't be stolen, like intelligence, drive, the ability to turn betrayal into billions. My family gave my inheritance to my perfect sister. 12 years later, I inherited everything they built and gave it away to those who needed it more. Because that's what you do with poison. You don't drink it. You transform it into medicine for someone else's wounds. And finally, you walk away, free from the weight of what they stole and what you've reclaimed. The boardroom, just another conference room now, but from the top, the view is perfect. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.